Welcome to this week's edition of Basagan Trip. I'm Leloy Claudio. I teach history and literature at De La Salle University. As always, kung meron kayong komento, pwede nyo akong i-tweet at Leloy Claudio. Yun nga lang, as you will find out, there is a reason why isang buwan bago ko kayo masagot. Ang topic ko for today relates to something you've probably stopped doing. So, at the start of the year, noong January, you probably made New Year's resolutions. Ngayon, patapos na ang February, magsisimula na ang March, marami sa atin nakakaligtaan na ang kanilang New Year's resolutions. And I think I know the reason why. The reason why we forget our New Year's resolutions is because we don't buy into these resolutions on an intellectual level. Hindi natin alam completely bakit tayo nagre-resolve to do things. So ako, ang policy ko, when I make a resolution, I make sure na nagbabasa ko about it. So what I'm going to do for you today is to share with you 5 books that allowed me to develop habits that transcended New Year's resolutions because there was intellectual buy-in. These books will cover various topics from fitness to mental health and to even ethics. So let's move on. The first book I want to recommend is 10% Happier by Dan Harris. It's a book about meditation and mindfulness practice. Now, si Tim Ferriss, someone who interviews some of the top performers in the world, he says that most of these people, most of the richest, most of the greatest athletes, they have one thing in common: they like to meditate. And this is, in yung account ni Dan Harris of how he learned meditation, it was very striking for me because Dan Harris is a newscaster sa US. And sometime a few years back, nagkaroon siya ng mental breakdown. And to address his mental breakdown and also drug addiction, he went to meditation. He learned meditation. At ang maganda dito sa libro na to, it doesn't overpromise. In fact, it's a book designed for skeptics. He doesn't say that it will completely change your life. He just says it will make you 10% happier. But yung 10% happiness na yun, it makes a world of difference because when you meditate, mas hindi ka nagagalit. When you meditate, you appreciate the things around you more. So that may be just 10%, but it makes a world of difference. Second book I want to talk about, talo naman tayo sa fitness. It is Pavel Tsatsulin's Kettlebell, Simple and Sinister. Now, si Pavel Tatsulin is considered the father of modern kettlebell training. He introduced the kettlebell to the United States in the late 1990s, early 2000s. Kung hindi dahil sa kanya, walang kettlebell sa gym mo ngayon. Ganun ka tindi ang kanyang contribution. And this book focuses on 2 things. Number 1, ang advocacy niya is everybody should be strong. Ngayon, we think of fitness as puro endurance na lang. Pero para saan kung kaya mo tumakbo ng miles and miles and miles on a marathon, kung pagdating sa airport, dahil sobrang hina mo, pinick up mo yung 20 kilogram mo na maleta, nabali yung likod mo. So this book actually teaches you how to be strong and how to be tough. The second thing that it teaches you is mastery over variety. A lot of us, when we work out, we do 15 exercises, we do 10 exercises. Sobrang dami ng exercise natin that we don't master anything. We don't get strong in these exercises. Now, this book by Pavel Tatsulin, it only recommends 2 exercises: the kettlebell swing and the kettlebell get up. And you do it every single day. The same workout every single day. So what does that do? It teaches you mastery, but it also teaches you how to exercise na may habit, because exercising is a habit, and unless you learn exercise is a habit, you won't continue exercising. And by the way, let me just guarantee, papayat po kayo dito. I'm 100% sure. Number 3, talo naman tayo sa area ng interpersonal relationships. I want to recommend a book called Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. Now, Matthew Dix is a storyteller. Isa siya sa mga pinakamaraming championships na napanalo sa Moth Storytelling Slam. And he does 2 things in this book. Number 1, he teaches you how to tell better stories. Now, I think everybody needs to learn how to tell better stories. Ako, teacher ako, mahilig ako magkwento sa estudyante. If you're a marketer, of course, you have to tell stories also. But even if you're just a normal person na hindi mo kailangan mag-storytelling for your job, you become a better person if you tell better stories. You connect with people more. You become more interesting. People invite you to more dinner parties if you tell better stories. So Matthew Dix teaches you how to tell better stories. But secondly, he also tells you how to find stories in your life. So there's a wonderful segment in this book where he talks about this practice he does called Homework for Life. And what it is that every day, at the end of the day, he spends 5 minutes just writing down in 1 or 2 sentences the most story-worthy thing that happened dun sa kanyang araw. And what that does is that it allows him to not only reflect on his day, not only to tell better stories, but also to give worth to yung special moments na pinagdadaanan natin every day and to remember those special moments. So this is a wonderful book and I highly recommend it. The 4th book I want to recommend kind of addresses the question of How do we find time to tell stories? How do we find time to do kettlebell workouts? How do we find time to meditate? And the answer is simple, reduce your social media time. And there's one book na tinuturuan tayong gawin yon. It's a wonderful book, kakalabas lang. It's called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, who is a computer studies professor. And he teaches you techniques on how to wean yourself from spending too much time on Facebook, spending too much time on Twitter. Ang prinsipyo niya dito is, if these technologies take away more time from you than they give back, then you should find a new way to have a relationship with them. Maybe only use Facebook every Saturday. Maybe delete Facebook kung sobrang grabe na, or maybe even delete Instagram. And ang recommendation niya for anyone is, try it out. Try not having social media for 30 days and see how it makes you feel. So, yan ang dahilan kung bakit sinasabi ko, you can tweet me, but I'm not going to be able to respond to you within the next 30 days kasi ako po ay naka-digital detox, and so far, so good. Okay, the fifth book is not a trendy book. In fact, sobrang luma nito. Ito ay galing sa ancient Greece. Ito yung Nicomachean Ethics ni Aristotle, ang pinaka-importanting libro sa buhay ko. Hindi na ako nagbabasa ng mga self-help books na nababaduyan ako. Lagi ko lang binabalikan yung sinasabi ni Aristotle. At dalawa lang naman ang punto ni Aristotle. Unang-una, man, or if you want to be politically correct, or human beings, are political animals. And what he means by that is, kung hindi tayo sumabak sa politika, we are no more than animals. And what does it mean to be political? For Aristotle, politics means the art of living together. So we have to ask questions about what it means to live with each other. We have to ask questions like, what does it mean to live with my family? What does it mean to live with my school? What does it mean to live with my workmates? What does it mean to live with my fellow Filipinos? And how do we make this process of living more equitable and more just for everyone concerned? That's the first point of Aristotle. The second point of Aristotle is the road to happiness. We can only find it if we find the golden mean. Siya yung nagpauso nun, di ba? So virtue is finding the golden mean. Hindi sobra, hindi kulang. Pwede magalit, pero hindi sobra, hindi kulang. Pwede mag-forgive, hindi sobra, hindi kulang. At itong proseso na to is difficult, of course. Aristotle does not give us predetermined solutions, but he thinks that the joy in life is precisely in struggling to find that golden mean, making sure that you ask that question every day. And I think that goes back to yung notion of mindfulness that I mentioned earlier. We should be mindful. And it is, I think, the golden mean that will allow us to examine ourselves and to make sure that we are mindful about everything we do. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you've read any of these books, and let me know if these books have helped you as much as they've helped me. Thank you very much.